Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to tonight's market debrief. What we are seeing on the screen right now is the S&P 500 index. Okay, and the first day of the year, US experienced a deep sell down. Okay, so what we have last night is that it started to rebound, but it isn't that fantastic. Okay, so there might be further consolidation or some sideways movement over the next few days, but generally in the long term uptrend. Okay, so we'll be expecting higher prices. Mainly you will see in the news flow is more on rally recovery, things going to go well, vaccination and such. Okay, so generally optimistic, positive news in the year ahead. Okay, so just bearing some unforeseen bad news, like some, I think a lady died, passed away after 48 hours after getting vaccinated in the UK. So there are some news like that will probably give some jerk. Okay, so ultimately, on the 11th of January, in the next few days, is where the executive order from Trump that the U.S. is going to delist some Chinese companies or Chinese government-linked companies from the U.S. and U.S. investors are not allowed to invest in those so-called blacklisted companies. Okay, so that is probably one of the reasons some investors, after having so much profits or for the year, or they are up for the year last year, and then they started to take profit and sell off. So that's probably some of the reasons. So we might be seeing some selling off, consolidation happening over the next few days. Then probably after that, it will continue its uptrend. Okay, what we'll see here is the Nasdaq index. Okay, so similarly you also have this deep selling on the first night of the US trading. Okay, so if we look at others, for example the UK. Okay, the UK, despite their COVID lockdown, is making new high. In fact, today, or sorry, yesterday, sorry, it's today. It's currently moving live now. Today, it actually have a up move, quite a strong move for today. Okay, so despite COVID lockdown, it's still rallying. Okay, so this is the current theme for the year. And this is German DAX. Similarly, also have some positive movement for the day. They just open market about 4 p.m. And if we look at the Asia market, okay, Asia market Hang Seng has been rallying for a few days. During the last week video, I've mentioned about this breakup. Hong Kong had this breakup. So as the new year opened, right, it continued with another 3 days of rally. All right, so this is what I've mentioned before. It's in a big consolidation. It did a flag pattern, more like this is the cup, and then this is the handle pattern. Okay, so this consolidation, once it broke up, it will start a new trend. Okay, so possible area to look out for, we have an intermediate resistance roughly about 28,000 and a major one roughly at about 29,000. Okay, so that's where the major resistance is. Okay, so I expect after this like 5 days of rally, or in fact more like 2 weeks consecutive, expect some pullback days, before it carry on its uptrend. The Chinese market, despite so-called blacklist by Trump, having a nice rally in the past few days. Okay, as I've mentioned, it broke together somehow around the same time with the Hong Kong market. Okay, so this is a nice consolidation, and why I mentioned previously that China and Hong Kong is going to move up. It's mainly because it's making a higher low. It's making a higher low here, making a higher low here, and make another high low here. Okay, so it's the price of being forced up or moving upwards. Okay, so generally it's very positive. Okay, this is Vietnamese market. You know, it's been uptrend, very strong uptrend. All right, so for this, most likely we'll be expecting a pullback soon. So as for Singapore, Singapore doesn't start with a big bang. I'm not too sure if it's mainly because the three banks and Singtel are still consolidating sideways. So, but a lot of the underlying stocks, you know, as I start to go through later on, are starting to move up. Okay, and some of the smaller stocks have even made some good gains. All right. For the past few videos, I've mentioned about this Federal Reserve system. Okay, and the U.S. have been printing money consecutively, you know, and it's making new highs. Okay, so this is the last week video I mentioned that they did a new high, you know, in their assets, you know, held by the Federal Reserve. Okay, so it's about $7.4 trillion, and what has happened is that it is fueling a boom in asset prices. So you have our stock market rally in the US, we have our Bitcoin, okay, currently in the euphoric mode. Okay, last week I mentioned about this Bitcoin is entering a euphoric mode. Okay, so this is what has happened. These two long bars, it has a selling, which means to say it's still a very strong uptrend, but the smart money are already starting to take profits. Okay, so there are some selling happening despite the next few days, right, is still continue to rally. So we are in a euphoric mode, and those who have Bitcoin, you should guard your position very tightly, or even plan to take some profit in the meanwhile. So commodities are having a run. Okay, this is spot gold price. So currently now it's hitting this intermediate resistance. Okay, from the previous high here, before this deep selling happened. So naturally traders would want to take profit over here. Okay, so I think this channel has become redundant already. All right, let me take it off. Okay, so now it's in this upward movement to form this handle pattern of a big major cup and handle pattern for the gold. Very likely it's going to continue to trend upwards, you know, with the way how Federal Reserve is printing money. And on other commodities, this is the crude palm oil. Okay, it's been rallying for the past 2 weeks. Okay, I've mentioned about this a couple of weeks ago that this crude palm oil is on a run. Okay, and I think last month in the video I also mentioned about this so-called rally, stock market rally is likely to be our last phase. Okay, as we are starting to see commodities rally. All right, so once commodities rally, usually is the so-called the last phase of the bull. And so now we are starting to see your Bitcoin, your gold, your crude palm oil, and this is your corn futures. Okay, has quite a tremendous move. We have our sugar futures. Okay, starting to have a nice move upwards, and we have our wheat futures. Okay, so these are all the commodities, you know, that are already starting to run and rally. So those who do options on futures, right, you have to watch out your position. No, never just cut your position. Okay, so for our Singapore market, as I mentioned just now, Singapore market is still quite so-called dormant or quiet, mainly because of the three banks. Okay, so DBS still in a consolidation. So as I've mentioned before, this is a big consolidation area or a congestion. There are a lot of trading investors, traders all stuck around in this portion. So there are a lot of trading and changing hand happening. So this is expected. Okay, so we just have to be patient. This is OCBC. So similarly, recently it tested this below $10 again, and then it rebounded back up. Okay, similar for DBS, no, went down 25 and then it rebound back up again. Okay, so it's a very strong support between this $9.90 to $10 and $24.90 to 25 for the DBS. In the group chat, I also mentioned about SGX. Okay, so in last week video, I mentioned over here that it's going to break out already. First day of the year, it had this big rally happen. Okay, so those who have, just hold on, no, and let this finish its trend. Okay, so it's probably going to retest this $10 area. Okay, this area is where traders got stuck. So most likely in this area, investors will most likely want to take profit, break even, or so on. Okay. So that's for the finance sector. We look at the tech sector. Okay, UMS also mentioned last week, and first day of the year it rallied. Okay, so now this is our so-called next resistance area. Okay, and I mean if it's currently now starting to be on the uptrend, right? Most likely it's going to break and make a new high. AEM mentioned before is likely going to start trending upwards again, or slowly moving upwards. Okay, and breaking this trend line. Alright, so it has done so for the past 3 days. So currently is taking a breather. It's resting. Okay, so probably you can look for opportunities to, I mean, look for investment or mid-term trading, short to mid-term trading, for the next run, probably until this area of like 410 to 420. This is Hong Kong stock. BYD company had a nice rally past few days. Okay, so it's more on like the tech sector. Similarly, like this their software giant Kingsoft. Similarly, also had a nice rally. Okay, a few days or a week of rally. And Tencent. Okay, after the sell down together with Alibaba and JD.com, it rebounded very quickly and starting to make new high. Okay, over this. Valuetronics seems like something might be happening. You know, we are starting to see volume coming in. Okay, so mainly is once you can break above or stay above 60 cents, right, it might continue its upwards movement and might do a burst move after this 62 half. This is a new IPO stock, Nanofilm. So since after this IPO, right, it's been rallying consecutively, and the past few days continue to rally some more. Okay, so this is quite a sharp run. So those who have done through the IPO had so-called doubled in their investment. Okay, so this is Nanofilm. Okay, just now I mentioned about the crude palm oil prices have rallied, so that has caused the Wilmar to rally also. So Wilmar deals in a lot of the commodities, palm oil, fruits, nuts, and stuff. So that's why like those futures where your corn futures, wheat futures started to rally, crude palm oil started to rally, is helping Wilmar, you know, in their share price. Okay, so I think we'll be expecting our food prices to increase too. Okay, so as everything starts to get more expensive, so-called our base materials. So in the crude palm oil space, we have our First Resources. All right, so the past few days have a huge rally. Today there's a huge rally after breaking up and make new high. Bumitama Agri, similarly following today's First Resources Q, you know, it rallied and make a new high. Okay, so the theme could be commodities, you know, for this first few months. So you might want to look into this. Okay, Golden Agri mentioned quite some time back, you know, after this rally, it pulled back. So I would say it's consolidating. So at this moment now, the whole sector is running. So I would say the given sector strength, right, is quite strong. Okay, at the moment. Okay, this is a Sanders read. Mentioned before is likely to, after this rebound, right, it's likely to turn upwards. So what we have today is an attempt to rally. Okay, Capital Land Integrated Commercial Trust, past 3 days, it's an attempted rally, and now it's attempting to break this resistance. Okay, so I might be expecting maybe one more day of movement before it rests, and if it does that, it's a very good sign. Okay, so we just have to hold on to this for those who have. Let's say in the shopping retail space, we have our land lease rate. Okay, during the video I've mentioned that this is very quiet, so it's likely going to start retest this resistance. So and it rallied today, testing this again. So this is a nice cup and a handle pattern. So now it's mainly waiting for this to break above this about 77 cents. Let's see if it can hit the projected area after it break up. Roughly about 95 cents. Okay, which is coincidentally, this is the congestion zone, okay, between 91 to 95. So in around this area, those who have, you should watch out for your position, okay, for those who trade. Keppel DC read. I know some of us are watching this. I'm also watching this, and at this moment it's not giving any clear signal. It's being squeezed, but it's doing like an inverse cup and handle pattern. This is the cup invertedly. This is the handle. So, but it's being squeezed between the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. So it's reaching an inflection point, a very important area, whereby it can move either up or down. Okay, so we just have to continue monitoring it. Fraser Logistic Commercial Trust, one of the few stronger logistic companies, is tagging towards its high side. All right, so we just have to continue holding it. Okay, it's quite positive, so there's a higher chance for it to break up and continue its uptrend. Whereas the rest is not really that positive. Probably you will need more time to consolidate. Okay, so what I'm referring to is Mapletree Commercial, Mapletree Industrial and Mapletree Logistic. As for a smaller logistic trust, ARA Logos Logistic Trust, okay, had a nice rally today, testing its resistance over here, about 64 cents. Okay, so ARA used to be called Catch Logistics, so they have changed their name to ARA Logos. Okay, so if for you to just to refresh your memory. And another business trust that has a nice movement today. Okay, so right now it tested this 20.5. Okay, so this 20.5 for penny stocks, it tends to be a major hurdle. It's probably difficult to break through. Okay, so the reason why is because there's a change in the bid size. It used to run by 0.1 cent, and then from here it jumped up to 0.5 cents. Okay, so it's like a 5 times jump in the bid movement. Okay, so sometimes it's a big hurdle for it to pass through this. Okay, but nonetheless it's still on a strong uptrend. Okay, CDL Hospitality Trust, after breaking up, it retests the support, and then it has a strong rebound. So I would say this is a very positive thing. Okay, so we are expecting in the near future for it to continue its outward movement. So on the Hong Kong side, the REITs like Champion REIT also all started to move up. Okay, so there are continuous few days of rally for Champion REIT. So I would say for the shopping sector, the retail space is like coming back in Hong Kong. This is link REIT. Okay, it's moving upwards. Okay. So on to other stocks. Some of this is of interest, like Hong Kong Land. There is a strong bounce off the support. Okay, so this is a support, I think mentioned before last time, 410. Okay, so it's a strong bounce, and today continue its upwards movement to retest the resistance. Okay, so this is mainly in a consolidation phase, like a square. Okay, so once it breaks that, right, it's most likely it's going to continue its upwards movement. So Capital Land, similarly, this is a consolidation. Okay, after this pause, it rallied and then it retest the support, the breakout point, and then it continue to consolidate. So with this, I'm expecting this to continue its rally upwards. CityDev give a little bit of a different story. Okay, so basically it went down. Probably the so-called family issues is weighing on this. Okay, so this is 750 is roughly the strong support area. Okay, no, don't know, maybe the brothers sold off. So probably the next few days we might see some news in it. So we just have to wait and see how this one turns out. Wing Tai and the smaller mid-cap property developer had a nice breakout today. Okay, so overall I think the whole Singapore economy is getting better. We also reported a GDP improvement. We had a basically less than expected GDP contraction for the year, for last year. So overall is a good news, it's a positive news. So so-called we'll be expecting like GDP expansion, in the coming year, since there are most probably no lockdown, more people coming into Singapore, tourists happening. Okay, so we also like to hope that the so-called air travel bubble between Singapore and Hong Kong is going to take off. Now with Hong Kong numbers coming down to like the average 30 plus per day. This is a new IPO stock. Okay, so-called recent, not really new. I think it has been very illiquid. Okay, so it's been listed since 2015. Okay, so what I'm saying is that recently it has some movement. Okay, there are a lot of trading happening, so something might be happening to this. So it's already starting to move outwards. So we just want to wait for it to retrace back. For those who like to trade, it's not for investment but more for trading. Okay, unless you want to invest, you have to read more into the company financials. So for those who like to trade, this one is a penny stock. For it to pull back down, and then we look for opportunity to go long. Credit Bureau Asia. Now this is the IPO stock. Okay, recently listed in last year December. In the video I mentioned about this breaking up, and then it continued to make new high. So I think today SGX got queried. I don't know what happened to their stock or their trading activity. Okay, so we just have to watch out for that. And then so at this moment we just wait for it to pull back. Okay, do like 1-2 weeks consolidation like nano film, and then we look for new opportunity to trade this for short-term traders.